When you get into a fight with your brother, you're probably going to be able to get into a fight with somebody else too.
I can get after him a little more because I know he can take it. And then at the end of the day, we've established that relationship of when it's done, it's done. Seeing a lot of myself in the way he wrestles still makes me feel like I'm competing.
They've set the standard. Garrett's been with me since day one. And then to get Gavin to come in here and be almost identical to Garrett, doing all the right things and giving his best effort, it's just an absolute blessing. There's a heck of a history between Stoughton and the University of Wisconsin. 26 miles down the road.
Garrett and Gavin's dad, Scott, we were back-to-back weight classes and won state titles. I was Scott's practice partner for a large part of our high school career.
We took Garrett to practice for the first time. I believe he was in kindergarten. Garrett was 5, Gavin was right around 3. Gavin ended up just entering the practice room too. He loved it.
Whenever they were in youth practices, they just joke around wrestle because when we actually got into it, Garrett would need somebody a little bit better, and Gavin needed somebody a little younger for him to wrestle.
It's history the making.
It was always the same competition. It was who could win and who could kind of make the other person cry.
What happened, Gavin?
My dad would look at us and he'd tell us, like, that's the only brother you have, so treat him well, treat him nice, and you guys are going to be friends for the rest of your life.
They didn't like to be split up, so if Gavin was doing a baseball tournament and there was a wrestling tournament on, Gavin always wished he could be there. We started taking them all in high school for their summer wrestling.
Gavin, growing up, he was always like that bubbly, funny kid. Garrett, I just knew he was always locked in super hard.
Both those boys were very good riders, but when Garrett came through, he was also the kind of person, he would enforce his will on top until he would get the bottom person to submit.
I think both of them left a different trademark here. Garrett as he came through, and then Gavin, his leadership helped us finally break through that last door to win a state championship.
My dad always kind of preached to us, like, I want you to be better than I was. And for him to kind of raise 2 that were better, I think is something pretty special.
Model never gonna quit wrestling, drops in on that single. Nice job.
We didn't recruit Garrett. When we got here, he was here. And he put his trust in us. I could count on my hand how many times he was down by 10, 11 points and came back and won the match. I remember his hustle, his effort. The wins and losses didn't matter to me. It's how he competed.
I came in 2017, 2018, and then I graduated in 2022, 2023. They had said, like, well, if you're thinking about going this coaching route, like, why don't you stay here? We'd love to have you, and that was a no-brainer.
We never penciled Garrett in as a starter, ever, ever. And every year he made the team. Gavin's the same way. He's your utility guy, the most reliable utility guy you can have.
For him to be able to have the opportunity to come back and be able to coach and be here for the finishing years of my career is probably the most impactful thing that could happen for me.
Good, there you go, Gavin. Usually on the hook. When he came to college was where our relationship jumped another level. We're still at family functions all the time, golfing together, going to the cabin.
I always call it heaven on earth. It's way back in the woods, there's no electricity. We both fish. I think sometimes I take it a little more seriously. Sometimes he's trying to take a nap and fishing at the same time, and he'll still catch just as many fish as me somehow.
I hope that when they're older and reflecting on those young years that they're in right now, that they realize how special it really is. And I hope that when they're older like us, they can look back and say, wow, that was really, really cool.
Good, yeah, just focusing on everything elbow pass or bringing his arms across that midline. That's where all your offense comes from. I think at first it was something that was pretty surreal. It was easier with him just because of that close relationship we had growing up together. I knew kind of how he ticked and what worked for him and what didn't.
To actually say that you were able to be coached by your brother and he was at that sort of level that he could help you out, I'll brag about it till the day I die for sure.